Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Let's try and forget, or maybe not forget, there's still a lot of things we need to work on, but let's try and move away from the sadness, the frustration. I've seen you guys' comments. We weren't happy, were we, after that defeat last night against West Ham. Today, I'm going to try and talk about potential ways, in my opinion, to solve the entire problem that Chelsea have right now. There were plenty of scapegoats that were there for the game against West Ham. You had some people blaming Kepa, some people blaming Tammy Abraham not being able to stand up straight on the goal line for conceding from corners. Some people wanted to blame Alonso. All of which are kind of valid. But at this point, I think the painstakingly obvious thing is that Chelsea may well be looking at a lot of attacking players in the window. We've already confirmed the signature of two of them. If you haven't seen my Welcome to Chelsea video for both Timo and Hakim Ziyech, Bezos just arrived, then you guys should definitely go and check that out. But today, I want to talk about 5 centre-backs that Chelsea could realistically sign this summer. We're going to take a look at 5 different players. I'm going to give a rating as to how I would feel about it out of 10 if Chelsea were to go ahead and sign this player. I want to discuss whether or not I think that this player would fix the entire problem. Would it be a short-term band-aid? But all 5 of these players that I've profiled today and that we're about to talk about are 5 players who I personally believe would walk straight into the Chelsea starting 11 alongside one of either Zuma, Rudiger, Christensen or Tomori. Chelsea, and I've said this a lot of times, have got 4 centre-halves who on their day are very competent. If you took any of the centre-backs and put them into the majority of other Premier League teams, they would probably get starting minutes. However, there is one thing that is seriously lacking at Chelsea. It is consistency, leadership, which in terms of a defence, if you're building a team from the back, you need to be able to command the rest of the players around you, be it the fullbacks, your centre-back partner, even your goalkeeper, and then obviously to transition from defence into attack, it needs to be a smooth, seamless process that's very easy to do. So without any further ado, we're going to start off with centre-back number 1, who is available on a free transfer this summer, which immediately to me rings alarm bells in terms to how good this guy has been throughout his career. Thiago Silva is leaving Paris Saint-Germain this summer. He's 35 years old, he's 183 centimetres, but I've never seen a defender who's not quite like your 6'6", 6'7". Thiago Silva is brilliant in the air, he's great on the ground, but as well as that, he is a natural-born leader. He's been captain of the Brazil side, captain of the Paris Saint-Germain side, and for a free, I'm looking at what Thiago Silva could bring this Chelsea team, and even if it's just for one season, it could temporarily be a band-aid to the centre-back issue at Chelsea. Considering his leadership qualities that have been prevalent throughout his entire career, I think that Thiago Silva would be a great player to bring in for a season or maybe 2, alongside another one of the centre-backs potentially that I'm going to mention within this video. So for the fact that he's a free agent, I don't think he would solve the problem long term. Of course he wouldn't. But in terms of being able to nurture the current centre-backs we have at the club, to build alongside Thiago Silva for a season, even if he only starts half the games, having him in the dressing room, it's almost as if he's like a player but also a coach, because he can help the other centre-backs to grow into the players that their potential suggests they could be. So for me, I'd give the potential signing of Thiago Silva an 8.5 out of 10. I think his wages could be the only thing that put Chelsea off, but I think at least for the meantime, we need someone who has been there and done it all and has been at the top of the footballing game and the top of the footballing pyramid for many years. Thiago Silva ticks that box. So player number 2, and it's still fresh in the memory, of course. We only lost to West Ham flipping last night, and it's first thing in the morning when I'm recording this one for you lot, so it's even fresher for me. Declan Rice. I spoke about him in the 2 videos we made before the Chelsea-West Ham game, and I said how Chelsea are potentially interested, or Frank is potentially interested, in bringing in Declan Rice as a centre-back. Now, not only was Declan Rice arguably one of the top 2 players on the pitch in the game against Chelsea, but he was also the captain, and for someone who's 21 years old, coming in for Mark Noble, who wasn't playing for West Ham, he's their regular captain, I thought Declan Rice was absolutely brilliant at the back. Chelsea didn't really offer anything. going forward in terms of crosses. But I really like the way that at only 21 years old, Declan Rice is already showing the leadership capabilities that we're trying to get here at Chelsea. It's the one thing that I think is really missing. Now, even though Declan is only 21, he's got the experience playing for England. He's already got the experience at Chelsea Football Club. He was a Chelsea Academy graduate. And I think that naturally, if Chelsea can sign Declan Rice for less than 50 million, I'm seeing like 45, 40 million. If we partner Declan Rice alongside Thiago Silva and we only have to spend 40 million quid, after watching Declan Rice's performance, I'm kind of changing my mind quite quickly about whether or not I see Declan Rice as a potential Chelsea centre-back moving forward. I know that obviously every emotion in terms of the way we perceive the centre-back problem right now, it's incredibly heightened because the West Ham game's only just been. It's not just the West Ham game where we have seen serious issues in the centre-back position for Chelsea. It's been an inconsistent position all season. We know that Frank isn't confident with any of the pairings. It changes all the flipping time. Declan Rice, if we could get him alongside Thiago Silva, I think Chelsea would immediately be in a much stronger position in that centre-back role for next season. So, the only stumbling block for me with Declan Rice is that he has been playing the majority of the time for West Ham in a number 6 role, but that's also a benefit for Chelsea because it offers versatility with that position too. Declan Rice, after that game against the Hammers last night, he goes up to an 8.5 out of 10 for me as well. He's actually climbed the pecking order in terms of centre-halves I'd like to see Chelsea sign. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So centre-back number 3, we're going to take a look at the former Chelsea boy again. There's a common theme coming up here. Currently Bournemouth centre-back Nathan Ake. Now, Bournemouth are looking precariously down the barrel of relegation right now. They were beaten 4-1 at home to Newcastle United, and it's making me think, you know what? Nathan Ake's in that defence. They conceded 4 against the Newcastle team, who haven't really been known for scoring bucket tons of goals. Benson, how could you possibly think a centre-back who's only 180 centimetres, 6 foot tall, do you really think Nathan Ake is going to solve Chelsea's problems? Well, Nathan Ake preferably plays in the left centre-back position. If we take a look at his defensive stats in the Premier League this season, on the whole, over the course of Nathan Ake's Bournemouth career, he's actually had a pretty good tackling percentage. As well as that, he can also get forward. He's also pretty good at contributing goals for Bournemouth, which is a good sign considering he's only 6 foot tall. It's not like he's going to come in and be that super tall man who's going to win everything in the air, which I do worry about at Chelsea at the moment. Is he going to be the leader? He's only 25 years old. I don't think he's that statement centre-back to come in and make the difference. I think Nathan Ake is a very good player, and of course, the player would probably prefer a move to Chelsea. And if he's looking at it now, he's thinking, you know what? Centre-back's an issue at Chelsea. If they do look to sign me, I'm going to be one of the first choices. However, Nathan Ake, I don't think there is as much quality there to solve the Chelsea centre-back problem. So for that reason, I'm giving Nathan Ake a 6.5 out of 10. I think if he was to come in, he'd kind of be in the same bracket of centre-backs that we've currently got, and we've got 4 of them. So I'm not entirely convinced on Nathan Ake. Let me know your thoughts on him in the comments, but we move into defender number 4, and it's another Premier League centre-half who Chelsea haven't really been heavily linked with, but he's a centre-back who I think is incredibly underrated in the Premier League. I'm talking about Brighton centre-half Lewis Dunk. The man is 28 years old, 191 centimetres. The 28-year-old is in the prime of his career. He gets forward for Brighton, scores a couple of goals as well, and I think that he's been leading that Brighton team who have actually really struggled to... Chelsea lost last night. Oh, so I woke up at 3 a.m. Lewis Dunk has also got a tackle success rate this season of 65%, which considering we saw Rudiger faffing around on the edge of the area just before West Ham scored that second goal, I think that Lewis Dunk not only would come in and actually be much harder in the tackles than any of the centre-backs we've got at the club right now, but I also think that aerial presence, 191 centimetres, the man is a giant. And he's also a leader. He's been leading the Brighton team. And I think in terms of underrated Premier League defenders, Lewis Dunk would actually be up there as probably as underrated as anybody. And I think that very soon we'll be seeing Lewis Dunk maybe coming in for England in centre-half. I think he's had a very good season. And for me, Lewis Dunk would be a much more preferable option than, say, a Nathan Ake. So for that reason, I'm going to give him the same rating, or actually, I should probably make a decision. Should I put him above Declan Rice or should I not put him above Declan Rice? I think Declan Rice, in terms of leadership qualities, will grow into someone who is probably more influential even than Lewis Dunk in terms of being able to be that hard-hitting tackler who isn't afraid to shout at his teammates when they're not in the right place doing the wrong things. I'm going to say 8.4, so slightly under Declan Rice. A lot of that is probably down to the bias of his performance last night, but Lewis Dunk would be a great option for Chelsea in terms of the price. Brighton are looking as though they're probably going to stay up now, so Chelsea would probably have to pay more than they would for, say, a Nathan Ake if Bournemouth get relegated. But again, Lewis Dunk would be another good option. Let me know your thoughts down below. And the fifth centre-back and the final centre-back that we're going to profile today is the one that I have said Chelsea should be looking to build their defence around for next season. Kalidou Koulibaly. He's available potentially from Napoli. There's been a lot of talks that he's going to leave the club this summer. The only sticking point for Chelsea, I think, with this deal is that the money that Napoli want for him, for a man who's 29 years old, is astronomical. But at the same time, I think that if Koulibaly was to come in, it wouldn't matter if he played alongside even Rudiger. I think he'd make Rudiger better immediately. Koulibaly alongside a Tomori, Christensen or a Zuma, I think would make Chelsea's centre-back pairing very, very strong. Koulibaly is a leader. He's brilliant in the air. He's brilliant on the floor. And I think in terms of the all-round game, he's probably one of the top 4 centre-backs in the world right now. So, if Chelsea are willing to break the bank for Kalidou Koulibaly, I would say that it's 100% a move we should go for. Gonna give it a 9 out of 10 rating, but at the same time, I think we should all expect that if Chelsea do go in for Koulibaly, we may not be able to spend big on the other players that we've been talking about. But based off of what you guys said in the comments of last night's 6 Things We Learnt video, I think we're all on the same page that if Chelsea are going to spend big money, I mean record-breaking money, on a player, at the moment, we need to focus on that defence. And if we sign any one or even 2 of the centre-backs that we've talked about in this video today, I believe that Chelsea will be in a much better defensive position for next season. One additional point that I do want to make before we wrap up this video today, and of course I've said throughout the whole video, let me know what your thoughts are on each of the players in the comments. Which one would you prefer? Another thing that I think is so essential, and I don't know if it's going to happen, if Frank Lampard isn't buzzing, is good mate JT, Mr. John Terry, can you please come and sort out our defence? If JT was to come in and help with the coaching of our defence, similar to what Liverpool have done. Obviously JT isn't a set-piece coach, but he is the prime example of the perfect Premier League defender in history. So if Chelsea were to go and try and get JT to be part of that coaching staff, not only would it be a beautiful story, but it would also help this defence an absolute ton. And I also think that, like Liverpool have done, where they've hired a set-piece coach, that could benefit Chelsea as well. Because right now, we are abysmal. There are words that I don't really want to say on the George Benson football channel. There are words that would get me demonetised that I would like to use to describe the Chelsea defence right now. So I think that 100% after that performance, the focus with where we spend the money this summer has to be on the defence. Thank you guys for watching. Also, thank you for all the support on the 6 Things We Learnt video. It's never nice to watch a Chelsea video after a loss, unless you're a rival fan, because, well, we don't want to keep reminding ourselves of what was a bad performance. But I want to say a big thank you for all the love and support. Keep subscribing to GBFC. Keep telling your friends if they're Chelsea fans, spreading the word and the love. I will catch you in the next video tomorrow. See you later.